What's up everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This video is going to be covering what's happening in this next cycle in our performance track. As we get into the holiday season, we want to do our best to mitigate the typical things that come up during this time of the year. A lot of travel, a lot of sweets shoved in your face through family dinners and stuff that just shows up at the office, as well as the sedentary life that happens because you're driving a lot, flying a lot, and all of those other things. So with all this in mind, we're going to be working a capacity focused cycle over the next 10 weeks in our performance program. So you're going to see me bouncing back and forth. I have another long write-up here that I'm going to try to talk through as quick as I can and cover what's going to happen during these 10 weeks. So first thing we want to cover is what is work capacity. Work capacity is the amount of work you can do, essentially. It is the total amount of work that you can adapt to, recover from, and overall do. So just as sprinting is a movement and a skill, we want to treat capacity in a similar manner. As our emphasis over the last couple of cycles has been, one, habit building into a good performance mindset, but also increasing our athleticism through the speed and power program that we did, or speed and power cycle that we did the past 10 weeks. We want to give a lot of love to our work capacity over the next 10 weeks. If you've done our 10-week capacity program that we have as a PDF program on our website, then you're going to be pretty familiar with a lot of the stuff in this, but the concept overall is going to be still performance minded. So we're still going to be training our speed and power, getting in our strength through a different manner, but then most of the work is going to be on the work capacity, but the structure overall is still going to be very similar to what the performance track has been over the last 20 weeks. So there's two main areas of work capacity that we're going to focus on during this time. There's three by the book. And those three are the phosphocreatine system, so it's a very short burst. Then we have the anaerobic system, which is a moderate length burst. And then we have our aerobic system, which is that long duration cyclical kind of work. So we're going to break it down into just two. We're already going to get our phosphocreatine system training through our sprints and repeat sprints and max velocity work. We're going to focus on the moderate anaerobic. So this is going to be that longer lasting, still high intensity pace. Typical bouts of this last between 60 and 90 seconds. And then we're also going to be working our aerobic capacity, which is that longer cyclical low intensity work that you typically think of when you do conditioning training. So that's stuff that by the book, it lasts over from 3 minutes and on, but our time domain is going to be about 10 to 15, maybe getting up to 30 occasionally during this cycle. We want to be as efficient as possible throughout this cycle, so we don't want to waste your time doing excessive amounts of aerobic work. We're trying to get the mindset away from that by doing things that are more efficient and more bang for your buck that still train what you want to train in a more time efficient manner. Along with the higher volume of conditioning work, we are going to still be training speed, power, and strength, but those are going to take a slight step back just over minimal effective dose, kind of right in between minimal effective dose and maximal recoverable dose. So we're going to get just enough to maintain the skills, maintain our abilities, and still make a little bit of progress as we go through these 10 weeks to where you come back after the next 10-week cycle, or at the end of this 10-week cycle, and you're not just completely wiped out and detrained from your speed, power, and strength. Diving in a little bit deeper to the strength portion, we're going to be utilizing isometrics for this 10-week cycle. So why are we going to be doing this and what is it? In our program, we have three main metrics that we use, and we've mentioned them a ton of times. Speed and power is lumped into one, so that's your explosiveness and speed. And then we have our strength, which is just the force you can put into an object. And then we have the work capacity across all different time domains. As we work to build one more than the other, we need to reduce the amount of work we're doing in the other two, or else these sessions are going to be 2 to 3 hours long if we're trying to maximize every single quality, every single session. And so in order to do this, capacity is going to take a step up. Strength will take a slight step back on some days, while we still have a good amount of speed and power work, and then vice versa for the speed and power work may take a step back for the strength to have a little bit more limelight for the day. As we focus more on the capacity this cycle, we are going to start adding in running again versus just the typical row and bike and assault bike work. With the running, wear and tear of the joints happens. And so to mitigate this, we're going to utilize the isometric work to help build our joint integrity, so build those supporting muscles around the joints and help strengthen those areas, as well as maintain our strength. We're going to hit both positional isometrics where you hold a specific joint angle, so for example parallel, for a set amount of time. So this could be hold a 90-degree squat for 4-second pause, and then you rep that out at a certain reps in reserve weight. And then we're also going to be doing a max voluntary contraction. So this is where you push an immovable object at as close to max effort as you possibly can. And this is going to help you maintain your strength and power output as we progress through this cycle. The positional isometrics are great for improving blood flow to the supporting muscles around those joints that we're wanting to work. And this increases strength and stability in those joints as a whole. And then we're going to use the max contraction isometrics to not just maintain our rate of force development, but also to increase strength to some degree by activating a high amount of motor units throughout the exercise. So as you progress through this cycle, we're going to get your speed and power in, and that's also going to train that short work capacity portion where we hit that burst, that high intensity burst, and then rest a long time. We're also going to hit our strength piece and maintain that to some degree. And then we're going to be working our capacity across all time domains. So you're going to have your shorter interval styles, you're going to have your 7 minutes and under time frames, and then you're also going to have your longer duration where it's 10 plus minutes. We'll probably cap it at 30 minutes overall. We don't want to waste your time by spending just hours and hours on cardio. We're going to hit the set time domain that we know is trained in a time efficient and practical manner. So you're not going to be running for 20-30 minutes. You're not going to be rowing solely for 20-30 minutes, or a bike or anything like that for that amount of time. It's going to be training this time domain. You're going to get that work capacity in, and then you're going to move on with your day. So the main thing is work capacity, but we're also going to be focused on the speed and power. And I've adjusted the program to fit the meat and potatoes at the beginning and the capacity piece at the end in the order of most importance, but you're still going to have time to hit the capacity pieces. So again, if you're following through the program, hit A, B, C, D, E, all the way through the alphabet. If you don't get to something, cut it off. There are shorter on time options so that you can get the capacity in each day and still be able to progress through the program and get what you need. So before we close, we're going to dive into what's happening day to day on the program. Monday is going to be our speed and capacity day. So we're going to switch this up to what it's typically been, where it's been speed and power. This is going to be an all-encompassing speed day. So we're going to start off with a good warm-up, hit some accelerations, and then hit some max velocity work. We're going to hit our Nordic hamstring curls on this day as well. And then we're going to get into our work capacity. This is going to be an aerobic style capacity piece, because we have more time, because the sprints aren't going to take a whole ton of time. We'll have more time on the back end for the capacity. And then we'll get into Tuesday, which is still going to be our strength day. We are going to hit a good warm up, hit a couple of strength movements. This is going to be more of a total body session. So we'll hit a squat, a push pattern, a pull pattern, and then we're going to get into our work capacity piece. The short on time options will probably cut the upper body work, because that is typically overdone in the community, versus the lower body work is very valuable as it accentuates our ability to perform our athletic movements. This capacity, because the strength piece is going to take a little bit more time, this capacity piece is going to be a shorter time frame and more high intensity. Then we'll get into Wednesday. This is going to be very different than the past couple of cycles. This is solely going to be our change of direction day. So this is a day where you can recover more at the back end of the day. We'll hit our typical skills that we've been working on in terms of athletic movement, the shuffle, the crossover, the back pedal, the landing, and force absorption pieces. And then you'll have an optional arm accessory circuit that you can do if you have time. If you don't, spend that time doing recovery. Thursday is going to still be our accessory style day. Get a good warm up in, and then hit our main movements on the front side of the workout. The middle is going to be our work capacity, and then the back end of the workout to close out the session is going to be a couple more accessory pieces that if you have time, hit them. If you don't, just shift them over to Saturday and do them then. This allows you to get the main pieces of strength in, and then the capacity, and then everything else after is just a bonus. And then Friday will still be our longer sprint day, along with the strength and capacity. We're now switching this into a repeat sprint ability piece. So this is how you can hold your speed for multiple reps. So obviously this is not going to be something that happens on the job on a regular basis where you have to sprint 40 yards, sprint 40 yards, sprint 40 yards on repeat. But it is a piece of energy, a piece of the energy systems that we want to train. And it is also a skill that we need to maintain. So one thing I've heard this called is sprint endurance. And so this is something we're going to train on a regular basis. It is split into body weight categories. So lighter guys are going to have a little bit higher distance, medium weight guys a little bit shorter, and then heavier guys are going to have even shorter. But it all depends on your body weight. Just go off of what you typically weigh, not what you're weighing every single time you step into the gym on this day. So we'll hit our repeat sprint ability. This is also going to be a semi-work capacity feel. We'll go in and do an explosive movement through the lower body hinge. Could be a power clean, hang clean, could be an explosive deadlift or something like that. And then we'll hit our shorter work capacity that's a little bit more high intensity. So this day overall would be about the same as typical days, but it's all kind of scrunched together. It's only 3 or 4 sections, and then it allows you for good cool down afterwards. And then Saturday is still gonna be our makeup recovery day. Not gonna have the repeat sprintability that we've typically had in the past cycles. We're just gonna have a nice flush out with an easy walk or bike ride just to kind of get things going, and then we'll have some guided mobility at the end. So if you have any questions, please reach out, comment on the video if you have questions, reach out to me directly via my Instagram or our In Extremis Performance Instagram. We also have contact pages that you can reach out to. We're happy to help you hop on a call and answer any questions that you may have. If you are in the program and you need adjustments, please reach out as well. There's a direct message chat that you can do on the app, and I can get back to you as soon as possible because it pops up on my phone like a text message. As you progress through this cycle, we ask that you trust the process. Your speed, power, and strength are just taking a step back so that we can have more time on the back end to do the capacity work as we progress through the session, as they should be in terms of efficiency. So we're adding an entire new day of capacity versus the 3 that we've typically done. We're adding a 4th day in so that we can have more time, more reps, more work to do in order to build our work capacity up over the next 10 weeks. If you have any questions, please reach out. Happy to help and answer any questions you may have. Get after it.